So you clicked on a Pokemon video last week, and now you've watched countless hours of the world's greatest Nuzlocke and Pokemon Challenge enthusiasts do the impossible despite constant failures, viewers banned, money lost, and audio clipped. And now you want a piece of the pie. Now to be clear, a Nuzlocke is when you can only catch the first Pokemon on each route, and when they faint, you can either box them up or throw them out. More on that later, but if this sounds fun, then perfect, you're in the right spot. This video is a guide for the normal, average, man do I like Pokemon, when I do play it once or twice a year, and I sure will put this Pokemon video on in the background while I do other tasks type of person. Well, first things first, what game are you playing? Now over the years, many people have ranked the mainline games in difficulty and funness to Nuzlocke, giving nuanced takes and guidance when picking a generation. But let's cut the crap. It's gonna be a game from one of these three, especially if you, like I, slurp up nostalgia through a straw like a slushie. Wait. You might be asking, but what about ROM hacks? Okay, sit down for a second. I know you just watched something like this, or maybe this, and not to give out too much credit, but these guys, they get paid to do this. Because, well, they built a platform, so even if it takes them 400 hours to complete a challenge, they get to put the video out and make money. The point here is that a lot of ROM hacks are just incredibly hard to Nuzlocke. So I think for your first time, or even your first handful of times, you should keep it classic. Now for the elephant in the room, where are you playing these? Because the reality is, if you don't already own the game, it's just not looking good for you. I would say, if there wasn't another option. So here's the deal. You probably already know this, but it's likely you'll need to find a cost-effective way to access the game you'd like to play. Now there are pros and cons to this, but at the end of the day, I definitely lean towards people getting to experience games that currently lack an above-board form of game preservation. Now, I don't know where that line is, but I would say somewhere around like, don't rip Tears of the Kingdom from online, but if your 3DS snapped in half when you were 10, well, Pokemon X and Y are great games, and I hope you get to play. And of course, this is all just hypothetical, but it did give us enough time for your download to finish. Also, please subscribe if we're just clicking buttons. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there's a little bit more to the rules. While it is true that what constitutes a Nuzlocke are two hard set things, that your first encounter per route is your only shot to catch a Pokemon on that route, and that when a Pokemon faints, you toss them into the bin. But you can order a couple sides with your meal. Numero uno being that you give a nickname to every single Pokemon you catch so that if they faint and you do have to let them go, a little piece of you goes with them. Secondly, and a pretty popular option, is the species clause. The main point here is that if you've already caught a Pokemon from an evolutionary line, you are exempt from cashing in your once per route encounter ticket on the same line. This allows for your run to be a considerably more diverse experience. Although 6 Gyarados is pretty good. Now, if this doesn't sound quite like the YouTube videos you've watched, it's because we have not talked about being hardcore. Now, if you want to be hardcore, you can't use healing items in battle, there's level caps for each gym leader, and you must play the game in set mode. And if it wasn't obvious, this can make a Nuzlocke really hard, because when all your Pokemon are defeated in a Nuzlocke and you white out, the game's over. It doesn't matter that you have 6 more Pokemon in your PC, you are done. But now that you know the rules and can actually play the game, something I like to do is name your rival after one of your closest friends. You're going down, you son of a bitch. Okay, moving forward. The beginning of your game will be pretty much the same. You can talk to your mom, set your clock, maybe just walk into a stranger's house, and eventually you'll pick your starter. The fun part is if you're playing a normal Nuzlocke, then you can just pick whatever starter you think is best. Maybe you think Totodile is cute. Maybe you like the ones from Gen 6. I don't know. You can be weird. I like Mudkip, but if you're playing a hardcore Nuzlocke, then you should pre-plan your starter pick based off of the upcoming gym battles, Pokemon found on the routes, the chance of encounter, rival battle team roster, chance of crit, and level up moves. Which is, yep, you could do that. Eventually, you'll have a chance to catch a second Pokemon. And hey, lucky you, because just like any other run, a Zigzagoon makes a great HM slave. which in a game mode with a limited amount of Pokemon you can catch, it's even nicer to have than normal. Now, since it's your first Pokemon Nuzlocke, we should talk about power Pokemon. These are Pokemon who have high base stats or just good typing throughout most of the game, and who usually have strong movesets that they can learn from leveling up. In Pokemon Emerald, for example, a great Pokemon is Taillow, learning Wing Attack at level 13 for a great stab move, and evolving into Swellow at level 22. And you can get one as early as Route 104. What's that? Oh, you did see one, but you got a crit and knocked it out? Well, what about the woods? You caught a Warple in the woods? Okay. The first gym's rock type, but no, you're probably fine. Well, my friend, we are getting into one of the best parts of a Pokemon Nuzlocke. That every single run, with every single uniquely named Pokemon, and every unexpected crit on both ends, results in something very interesting. And for the first time in a while, you may be having a genuinely peculiar experience with Pokemon, which is in some ways the heart and soul of a Nuzlocke. Yeah, you wiped at the first gym because you caught a Warple, but that's the spirit of the game, baby. So load up and run it back, hopefully catch a different Pokemon, and beat Roxanne into the dirt. And with that, you're well on your way in your first Pokemon Nuzlocke. So thanks for watching, subscribe for more, and if you have any video suggestions, let me know, because I'll do them.